All right, welcome back to RLTW Strategies. So the last time I went live, I tilted after blowing an account. The eval was so close to passing, and just got hit on the wrong side of a trade and over leveraged. And then I immediately reset an account, blew that one. Reset another account, blew that one. And then I just had to call it quits. I don't know if I reset 3 that day or 2, but it was rough. And then yesterday, one of the nights I traded in the evening during the Asian session during Globex and tried to go long gold on a pullback on gold. I got destroyed, and then gold rallied like $70 or something, $40. So I got tore up pretty bad on that one. And you know, I sat around and I was like, man, I'm being irrational in my trading, and I'm not trading setups, and I'm not focusing on anything specific, and kind of feel like shooting in the dark. But then there's times where I'm confident in the setups, and I get in, I get out, and I move my stop, and I get stopped out, and it gets very frustrating when you see success, and then sometimes you're not disciplined enough to capitalize on doing this. So it was really it was a struggle. So here we are, another 100K. I'm up on the day, and I had this one yesterday. Tilted yesterday too. Had 2 accounts. Closed the day, 21 trades at 2,500 after the momentum to the upside yesterday. And that was all basically Trump news. So closed yesterday with 2,500. Today I just finished at 1,300 this morning. And we're going to see if we could get into another trade and see if we can move it to a couple more $100. Try not to get below 1,000. So we'll go from there. And I shouldn't be trying a new strategy, but I'm kind of am trying a new strategy. And I could go ahead and show you. I found some YouTube video. And it was a concept of playing let's go ahead. I could go ahead and do it and demonstrate real quick. So on this account, move the chat over a little bit. All right, so you're on you could do it on the 5-minute. I think I started on the 5-minute and do it. So go ahead and remove the drawings to start off fresh. And I traded this combine with this in mind. So there is an idea of, and you can do this on the 1-minute timeline, trend line, 1-minute time frame, the 1-hour time frame. But what you do is, and I've been trying to do it on the paper account just to test it out. So large movements highs and large movements lows. So all these stair steps wouldn't be count as individual movement, but that high up there will. Okay. So we'll do that, and we'll keep it in blue, and we'll do another one. Oh yeah. So why we're here on this high? We're gonna gamble again. So while we're here, we're going to go ahead and mark the highs of each peak. And these are just going to be the levels at the 5-minute that we'll wait to see what price action does at those levels. So we have a path from the low to the high to the low to the high of the day so far. And this is just from today, and we got this gap up that is huge, and we don't know if we're going to be revisiting it later, but anyways, So then you got those large movements, right? And then you got the internal structure. And this internal structure went on opening. And it will make sense in a second. It will make sense in a second. I don't know, I guess I'll count that one like that. So this is the internal structure. And I'll put the guy who I saw this do this path on. So then we got the internal structure, right? You got the external structure, exterior, and then you got the internal. Now on the interior structure, you have these levels, and this was from this morning. This is from where we're at the open. So then on the internal structure, you got these levels. You got this one here, and we'll mark this in orange because it will reflect the orange. Orange will reflect the internal structure. And you just start putting levels on. And you got this one up here. And we probably should put one here. The internal structure should have came up to this one. And we'll go ahead and put a line there. And then you got one here, but this is on the 5 minute. So, okay. So now we got this zone right here. And the zone is basically like a consolidation zone, right? It's a consolidation zone. It's been consolidating since the open, 9:30. We stayed within this range, and that range is fairly large, right? You can make a lot of money, 160 point range, and we've been bouncing on this all morning, and you can see that in reflection to the chart here. And these green lines is what we were doing on the other screen that I already did earlier, and then of course my stupid trend lines that I keep putting on the chart. So we got this upward trend, and now we're consolidating. So what's going to happen this afternoon? Well, you know, we're getting close to 11. It's 11 o'clock. You know, we're going to get liquidity at 11:30, and then 12, and then 12:30 is as market slows down. You know, there's going to be a huge intraday move, and then you got like a quiet period from 1 to 1:30, and then between 2 and 2:30, it's going to get crazy again. And plus, we don't know what other news, what Trump's going to say. And see, Trump's already posting stuff right now. We may pop up. So instigating Trump is still showing like he's the big man on campus with China, and then China's going to get offended with what he's saying, and it's going to make this market crash. Maybe. So anyways, back to where we're at right now. So this, to me, this is a no trade zone where we're at right now. And it's 165 points, but I mean, these candle wicks, even on the 1 minute, are like, you know, you're going to get $1,000 loss on your account with one contract. And I could trade micros, but I don't want to trade micros. I know I should. I just can't do it. I can't do it yet. And I should, and I know I should, but I can't do it yet. So here we are. We're inside this zone. So what happens is when price gets above these two levels right here, this blue line and this orange line. Now, depending if the candle closes above one of these lines and opens a new candle, we could probably believe that we're going to move up 30 points, 20 to 30 points, right? Whatever it is, it's a good indication that we may hit stops up here, and we could scalp a good trade, $200 to $300, and then call it good for the day. And the same thing can happen once we break this level down here, is if we close a candle below this orange line, which is outside of this box, we might hit stops down to here. And we got the VWAP down there. So we could bounce pretty hard off the VWAP, or we could break through to this low volume area right here. All right, on the volume profile. So we got the VWAP, we got a low volume area here, and we got the high volume area here. So this high volume area, right in this mound of volume from this morning pre-market, right? This could be a bounce area right here. So that's if we continue, if we start breaking this box and we start going down. We also have, you know, if you go on a larger time frame, I need to figure out what I'm doing right here. Okay, if we go on a larger time frame, right, we got resistance up here. We're at one resistance level here. All right. Price tried to stay above it here. It didn't. It broke down, came back and retested, and we broke down all the way down to here. And now we're way back up to here. So what's going to happen? Well, I think 19,100s is a good level, that we break above 19,100s. And if you look over here, 19,100s is above this box. So if we break above this box and this green line, we'd be breaking above this orange and blue line, which I said, you know, it's a good, probably a good idea to go long if we break that. But then that's a breakout trade. And I'm not very profitable on breakout trades because I do it too early and we retest it like 4 times and then we break out. But this area is a good resistance area right here, right? Everyone can see that. And then we got this area up here. And that's the area where I think we could hit stops, because stops are going to be, if you think about stops, where would stops be located if you're trading this short, right? And we're coming back to retest to a double top. Well, we're retesting a double top up here. So stops are going to be a little bit above it. So maybe 19,500, but can we do that today? And then we have all this stuff right here, which could be a resistance level. Not very accurate, but you see the area. So that's the areas to the upside that I see us going to before we get to this area, which if we get to this area, we're going to have to break that, right? We're going to have to fight through this area. And I'm going to erase these lines because I don't want it to confuse with this action that I got building up right here. And then we got this area right down here, right? So those are the levels. I might keep those there actually, because it'll be a while for us to get up there. So that is what may happen in the next couple days, or dude, it may happen today. We could move 600 points today. We're already up quite a bit, percentage wise, 3.6%. So anyways, I'm kind of playing with this on the paper account, these external paths and internal paths, and drawing these levels from those 2 paths, from the highs and the lows, and then trading those. But I draw it on the 5-minute timeline. You could do those on the 1-minute timeline. But I usually observe the 5-minute on one side and I trade the 1 minute on this side at those same levels. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be focusing on, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I mean, this is all chop zone since open, right? Look at, I mean, the ranges are ridiculous. 130 point ranges, 116. Now we're chopping in this little, okay, so this morning, and this is from data release too, we got the housing data and we had the PMI get published this morning. So that was, this big was PMI, I think. What time was that? 10? No, that was housing. And then PMI was somewhere at 945. It was just right here. Not that big, but housing data was really big. And then Bassett talked earlier. They should have posted his comments. Where is he at? Anyways. And OPEC Plus is increasing oil output, and oil dropped huge this morning. And gold's been dropping huge all morning as well. I mean, we dropped from the high of last night, $236. I mean, that is huge. It doesn't add more clarity to my trades. It's just another observable graphical representation of what price may do once it reaches those levels. So instead of going on breakouts and instead of going on trend breaks or trend supports or trend retests, right? That's what I usually do with my trend lines, especially on the 1 minute, just to grab a quick scalp, which between that and my levels, I think are fairly, I could scalp like 150 to 250 at a time when I don't over leverage and I work on one contract and try to get out of it before I get too much of a loss. And then this concept of using these paths and these levels, I'm trying to see which one I could be more profitable on when it comes to my percentages of taking my trades. So on the paper account, I'm kind of hitting those levels on the paper account, but then I put them on my trading side, on my trading window, just to see how it correlates with my trend lines. But I don't have, I mean, I just started this morning, so I don't have any data to support like my profitable observation or execution from looking at these levels. But I was watching a video and I was like, oh, it kind of makes sense. Let me see if I could put it in application. So, but like I said, I mean, in this box, there's really no trade for me unless we support this trend line. If we break it and retest it, or if we hit it, I mean, we hit it 1, 2, 3, 4. Could be 5 more times before breaking through or before dropping down. And we're up like 500 and something points from last night's close, which 802 points up. I mean, my brokerage account, I'm very happy with the brokerage account. Still haven't closed any of those positions, and we're at 140 right now. Right now. And if China says, no, we're not going to do your deal, well, there goes the brokerage account. And if Jensen Huang traveled to China and said, hey, you know, we could try to make this work, and then NVIDIA is going to go up, and then semiconductors are going to go up. And then they published something about how, where is it? Something about technological advancement is going to, AI and technological advancement is going to what is going to move the economy, is my interpretation of that. Let's just hope it didn't get buried. Yeah, it got buried in the data and the news releases. But passing. Hopefully I could record me actually taking a trade off of that path concept. But see, we rejected on this trend. So where is it going to drop? 40 points off that trend area. I mean, we got support down here, so I'll just wait until we break this box and touch this green line, which is near this trend line. And if we can't close below this green line to hit this level down here, where this blue line is, oh, that's resistance too, so we could bounce off here. And the VWAP is at 18,945, so 18,945. We got the VWAP right down here too. So we may, once we break this box, we may go down the VWAP, which is in this area. So that's an area where we may bounce from. We're either going to bounce off this VWAP or we're going to break through it down to this low volume area. I think that's what this is showing in this chop. But Again, it's 11:18, so 11:30. Will 11:30 take us down there? You know, you just don't know. Was it better? Was it better having two screens on this one over here, Pon? Thanks, Pon. Thanks for reinforcing that, because over the years, I got tired of watching other people draw levels, and I wanted to get comfortable with my own levels and trying to find my own levels. And so that after a couple years of doing it, actually, after I would say 8 months to a year of doing my own levels, finally, and then trying to trade my own levels rather than trading emotion or intuition or being irrational. Not irrational. What was the word? Reckless. No. You said it on another one. Anyways. That's all I'm waiting for. The bottom of the box. What are we going to do? And that's 19,000s right there. That's roughly 19,000s. So we could bounce or break through 19,000s. Okay, there's the break. So on the paper account, I'm going to go short. I'm going to go short one. And then we'll see what happens, how price acts. And I usually enter a breakout early. So if this is the first breakout, we're probably going to come back up in this area before going back down. But the VWAP right down there. Impulsive. Yes. I got to put that on a sticky note on my monitor that says, don't be impulsive. And I probably shouldn't have gotten this trade right now because the candle did not break and open below this box yet. But that's the concept of I was talking about if it broke under that box. But we need this candle. We need the 1 minute candle to close outside of this box. And see, like, I'm happy with $160 profit, right? So could I have taken it off right there and just been happy right there? And then I think we're going to go to the VWAP. But see, this is the indication of me going into a breakout early and then watching it go back up. Because I've done that. I've done that live so many times. As long as we don't break this trend line and this trend line keeps supporting us, then we're good. I think we're good. And I could add a short now because we retested that low, but this low could have been a nice bounce area as well. We have a pretty solid red 5 minute candle right here. So this bounce could be huge. And we're 10 minutes, we're 8 minutes away from 11:30 where liquidity comes in. So the liquidity would be devastating if liquidity comes in and takes us all the way down to the gap. But there's too much positive news right now, close to deals. So we'll see. We will see. There you go. Look at that. So that breakout was a good play. I took 500. It's going so fast it won't close my position. But that was the play right there. And let's see if any news came out during that. Nothing came out yet. So we could bounce all the way up to test this trend line from that drop. We hit the VWAP, we busted through the VWAP, and now we're coming back up right here. And we hit that level. Now we need this 1 minute to break with 13 seconds. If we break below this green line, we're probably going to go to this blue line. But we already did that, right? So I don't even know if that trade's going to be valid now. We could come and retest that box. We hit this trend line. I drew this trend line from way back here. Oh, damn, I don't want to move that. From down here, from 3 o'clock this morning. Now we're coming back up to retest that trend line. We come all the way up to this trend line and then go revisit down here at this bottom of this candle wick. Here we're testing the bottom of the box. But that took, if you were long down here, that just took all the stops out from 9:30 this morning. All the longs from 9:30 this morning. The people who bought here, the people who bought here, the people who bought here, right? This candle wick just took all the stops out. So does that mean we're going to go move higher? I don't know. We could retest the VWAP and blow right through it. No new news. No new news. 11:30. It's not even 11:30 yet. $11 left on this candle. If we break below this candle, I'm going to wait till we get to the box. I think that box would be a good trade. Maybe now. We're hitting the VWAP again. I'm going to wait till 11:30. There's going to be liquidity coming in at 11:30 anyways. I will be right back. Man, missing out. Missing out. Breaking outside that box. What other level we got? We got this level down here. 18,859. We're below 19,000. So if we come back to 19,000, I don't think we will. 2 minutes from 130. We could reverse at 11:30. That just moves so violently. At least on the 5 minute. 124 points on that 5 minute candle on that breakout trade. And I got $900 off it on the paper account, but and then the next 5 minute candle, almost another 100 points. 200 point movement in 2 5 minute candles in 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. We come all the way down to here. 700s, 770s. On the 1 minute, we have a couple stair steps. We have a stair step here, stair step here, stair step here. Man, we're bouncing there. Are we rejecting there? I want to short, but I want to wait till we retest. Excuse me. I want to wait till we retest this trend line. This one hasn't been broke yet. This was this morning's. Where did I draw that? That was. Oh, that was the gap fill. We're inside the gap fill from April 15th.
Filled. Order filled.
All right, 1,500. I mean, I forget how much that was. 250? 250 a break at below that green line down to the trend line, and I slowly move my stop down, and I probably missed out on a long move, but we have this right here, this area that we could bounce off of. So again, here's another green line. So let's see if the 1 minute candle breaks below this green line. That could be another trade down to here. We could bounce on this trend line right here to retest either this green or blue line. Or if we break this level, then we come down to here. Maybe here. Maybe there. But that movement, if we break, I mean, that's almost a 20-point movement. But we got this trend line, so we'll see what this trend line does. And this trend line is from, this trend line right here is from Globex at 9 o'clock last night. And we hit 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could hit it 5 times, or we could bounce and go up from here. So this trend line hasn't been broken yet. This trend line has been broken, but we may come back up to retest it. But before we retest this trend line, we got this one that was established from the high of the day at 10:30, and it's a pretty steep drop. So we could come and retest it near this green line up here, but we're still below the yeah, you're right, Pond. Used a level and a planned trade and ended up walking away with 250. Now the VWAP shows, now we're inside this level, right? We bounced here once. I'm gonna make that a solid line on this 5 minute candle that moved almost 100 points. We're below the VWAP, right? So this level right here at 9:45 could be a rejection if we get there, right? We have a green indecisive candle. We have a series of red with a green indecisive, which most times than not indicate more series of reds. I find it that happens. Like right here, series of reds, indecisive green, series of reds, indecisive green, right? Now, does it happen the other way? Maybe. Kinda. On the way up. We got more consolidation ranges on the way up than dropping with the indecisive, with the one indecisive candle. We got one here, but I wouldn't consider that a series of greens. We have a series of greens here, but that's not an indecisive red, and then a series of greens. But it just seems like on the drops I noticed that. So this area right here, this low volume area, could be buyers buying it back up. I'm just waiting to see if the series of reds. These are large wicks. Large wicks. 60 points. 30 to 40 point wicks. 1 minute just moves so much. Oh, I'm on the 5 minute. There we go, the 1 minute. Looks like we're on a 1 minute consolidation. We're in the zone, the gap zone. The bottom of the flag right here. Got the pendant forming, maybe. Got resistance area up here. Resistance area up here. This was the bottom of the box. Still below the VWAP. 944 is where the VWAP's located. That was a healthy pullback from the climb this morning. 800 points up with our first huge pullback of 300, 300 points. 800 points since close of yesterday to our first 300 point pullback. Are we rejecting the VWAP? We retesting this trend line. Are we rejecting off this trend line? Was that the retest? Was this the retest? It's a terrible color. So I'm watching two things. I'm watching the reaction on the 5 minute off the VWAP, right? I'm watching that right here. And on the 1 minute, I'm watching the touch of this trend line and the rejection, which that could be it because this is just an area, right? These lines aren't precise, especially how I draw them. And then I'm watching what we do on this trend line, how price is going to act. So this could be the rejection off the VWAP. It's just not strong enough. We might be getting momentum once we break out of this area right here. Right? Because we could bounce from this congestion here. But if you shorted as we started coming down, that's almost 40 points. And we could retest down here. We bounced this trend line. It's almost 12 o'clock. We bounced on this trend line. Are we retesting this trend line? We broke through this trend line. Was that the retest? You can never tell. The 5 minute looks like it's pretty good. We got 2 minutes left on this candle. That was a good rejection. That could be a good short, at least down this blue line. Well, good. OBS reconnected and disconnected. How was that? Did it kick you out, Pond, or are you still in? You're still in. 50 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. And I put the countdown clock so you could see if you're watching um, how many seconds are left on that candle. So I don't have to keep saying 10 seconds left. That was a clear rejection off that trend line. Let's see what it does at this trend line. We're still following this trend from the high of the day, which we could follow this trend all the way till 2:30. Why do I say that? I don't know. Between 2 and 2:30 Eastern time. $8.59. All right, so 5-minute candle closed. We're back. We continue going down. Oof. It's just been down so much. If I short here, I'd be shorting a breakout out of this area right here. I usually take a lot of heat when I trade a breakout. Man, I almost shorted. That would have been a good short. I should have entered a short here. I was thinking about it when we came down below that blue line. Now we're already at this trend line, so let's see what happens. Are we bouncing or are we breaking through? If we break through it, I'm looking for a retest on that trend line. And we consolidate in this range all the way till we hit this trend line. We're in this low volume area, so we could drop pretty fast. This could be a double bottom from 10 minutes ago. Definitely a support area. But we're below this trend line. And there's the breakout down. That was a... Should have shorted right there at the blue line. There'll be other trades. We could bounce here. 8.15. Now we're getting close to this last trend line. This trend line is still in effect. This one's broke. We could retest this one. Now we're heading to this one. which is the bottom of the gap again. Okay, how much have we dropped already? 349 points. The 50% reclaim area is a little bit above the VWAP at 988. That was a grab of liquidity, no? That pump up with the wick. Grab of liquidity. Man, we are in a low volume area right now. Look at this low volume area right here. We're kind of close to that blue line, which would have been a buy area for me. Except that would have been a good buy area. We kind of bounced on it here. That's where we're at right now. So we bounced on it here. That was from this morning. Oh, last night, Globex. We bounced on it there. We stayed above it all morning, and now we're bouncing right there. So that could be an area. Are we going down further? That was a liquidity pool, or is it going to keep on building this back to this trend line? What's gold doing? Is gold jumping back up? Not really. The scary trade would be going long right here. All right, so something to pay attention to when you get close to noon, lunchtime, is we've been dropping since the high of this morning. From 10:30, we've been dropping, okay? And now lunchtime is coming. So what happens during lunchtime? Can we fall further into the gap, or are we going to spike up during lunch? We got another gap. We got this huge gap right here. We're gonna have to start labeling these gap fills like by dates. This is the 22nd April. Disconnected again. Hope that's not the gap. That's the gap. All right, we have a ways to go before we hit this area. And look at that bounce off that trend line. And we're close to 5 minutes till 12 o'clock. So we could reject here. We could blow through it. We bounced on that low volume area pretty hard. We cleared it. We cleared the low volume area on this wick. We cleared it to this next volume profile here. And we bounced off it. All right, we're testing that trend line. We bounced off this one. Now we're retesting this one. Watching the 5 minute. Is the Mag 7 going to go lower during lunch? Almost 100-point move up in 1, 2, 3, 3.5 minutes. There's a rejection, maybe. Is that a faker? Looks like a faker. We could reject here. Minute and a half to 12 o'clock. I want to enter a short right now, but it's too close to 12 and I'm afraid of liquidity coming in. Because I don't usually trade with a stop, so that liquidity could take me out like super quick. $30 seconds till 12 o'clock. I mean, we could come all the way down to the Globex Open at the top of that gap from last night. All right, it's 12 o'clock. Let's see what happens in the next 20 minutes. If I get a 1 minute that breaks and opens below that blue line, I might enter another short. Nineteen seconds. That was a grab of liquidity. We may go up. We broke it, but that happened so quick that I feel like it just busted stops.
Filled. Order filled.
All right, about 60 points. I think we might come back down here. I thought that was a liquidity pool, but this other candle below this blue line it opened below it, so we could come back down and retest this low down here. I should have entered up here, but I didn't know what it was going to do at this trend line, but it broke the trend line a second time. We broke it here, retested this trend line, came back up, broke it again. We could retest this trend line, but I really think we may come down to here and retest this area, which is last night's gap. I may be wrong. That's a lot of movement. There's no way I'm going to hold on to a position that long. I haven't learned how to do that yet. Yep, we're breaking down, testing the bottom of that box. We have a minute left on this 5-minute candle. So this easily could be green, but in the next minute, if we break below this green body candle, then I think the next candle is going to come back down to here. But that's if this candle breaks bigger than this green candle. I'm watching that on the other screen. Definitely this blue line right here. It's fighting. 30 points above and below. 25 points above and below that blue line. That's how much you're going to lose or risk if you're going long or going short off this blue line. That's why I'm waiting for that 5-minute candle. We have 16 seconds left. I don't think it's going to break. the next candle might. If we stay below this trend line, we could just consolidate to this trend line. We broke above it. Last time it rejected here. So let's see what happens in the next 2 minutes. Well, there's the rejection. Still an early candle though. 4.5 minutes left. It always makes me feel like it's going to drop. If it makes me feel like it's going to drop, it probably makes 1,000 other people feel like it's going to drop. And then longs are going to trap shorts. Maybe not. I mean, it's below the trend. It's below the blue line. Maybe we're finally going to retest that bottom area down here. And we are. It's a big 1 minute candle down. At least it's testing this low. So we couldn't break above this area. And we're about to see if we break below this area. And then this is the area where we may bounce. What did Zelensky say? Zelensky's statement is harmful to negotiations by Truth Social. No kidding. President Lagarde said China and U.S. discussions will likely be the key to trade negotiations. You think? All right, so far we couldn't break below this area. I almost entered a short up here. If it stayed below that blue line, I was going to enter right here. Oh, I was scared, man. 1,600 was good, but that could have been another $300. The 5 minute looks like we're coming down to this bottom in this low volume area, so I mean the next area would be this orange line if we break below this blue line. And that's 30 points almost. That's a good that orange line's at 771 and this line's at 773, so that would have been a good trade. Retesting this blue line, breaking this trend. We rejected this trend line, so that one's done. right? We broke through it, retested it twice, dropped back down. Now we're testing this trend line. So two trend lines are in effect right now. This one from the high of the day and this one. And we could put an intermediate one. Where are you at? There it is. You know, that's an intermediate one. I would call that an intermediate trend line. So we'll play the reaction off of that. Here we are, we hit the bottom. Are we bouncing or breaking through? Still that low volume area, we keep bouncing off it right here. And usually, once we break this low volume area, we could come all the way down to this orange line right here. But we haven't broke that low volume area, so there's buyers there keeping a shelf right there. And this area is the same as the high from last night in Globex. Well, that was the high from the initial report from last night that gave us that gap pump. Here's that intermediate trend line getting hit. That blue line's getting hit. And we're testing that low volume area. Can we kick down till 1230? How many points is that if I short now? 33? Man. How many points we drop already? 362 points. And why wouldn't it be a breakout? Should have shorted. Missing out on all these moves. Oh man. Can we bounce off that trend line again? It's trying. It's trying. If I enter a short now, I feel like it's just going to gut wrench me on to the upside. That was it right here, the short from this blue line. I'm watching the 5-minute candle. We have a minute left. The Mag 7s could move to the upside. $362 points we dropped already. We could easily pop up 100 points. That's the environment we're in. We bounced off this trend line twice, here and here. We've been hitting this trend line for a while. This is the intermediate trend line. This is the major one from the high of the day. Then we got the blue line, that's been pretty substantial since 11:32 for the last hour. All right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try the short down to here.
Order filled.
117. We retested that trend line again. 3 times we tested, 4 times we tested that trend line. So are we gonna bounce or are we gonna break through? Man, I could enter another short right now. Play that $100 again. We're getting close to 12:30. We could reverse at 12:30, or we could drop at 12:30. If we break this green line, if we break this green line right here, man, we can bounce too. The risk is like all the way up here, or here, or here, or here. Where do you want to put your stop? Here, 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 or here, or here, or here, or here. I just feel like it's going to kick down super quick. I'm going to play it on the paper account. One contract right here. Let's hope I'm not too late. For a kick down to here. A quick drop. No stop, because that's how I would trade it on this account. We're testing it. Now I'd move my stop to at least $120, right? That's what I usually do. I think we're gonna come down to here. We're finally in that low volume area. That stopped me out, and it's gonna go. This is either gonna collect stops and then bounce, or it's just gonna fall. But it's not gonna do this little movement, I don't think. This slow grind down. It's either gonna pop up or it's gonna drop down. Right here. I just don't know what direction it's going. I kind of feel like it's coming down here, but we're staying on that trend line. There's the drop. So I thought we were gonna come down to here, and now it's going. I hope you got into that. There's a low volume area we're hitting. This will be the shelf, so we could bounce here. But if you played that break, I'd move the stop probably right here, 793. It just could have went both any direction. To me, it could have went. Touch and bounce, touch and bounce. Come on. So that's how I miss out on the move, right? So I came down here, I moved my stop, it hit me, took me out, in profit, and then it dropped. So those are the movements I'm missing because I moved my stop. But I try to trade the paper account the way I would trade my eval or XFA. Top Trump aides urge president to tone down the attacks on Powell. Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. And we broke. Dude, if you got in that long pond. And we broke the high of that release. This was the high of the release. Well, that's the high of the release. And then we came down, tested the bottom of the open of last night, and then we popped up here. So this level, right, we broke below that. VWAP's pointed down, the EMA's coming down. We could come down to this area, 737, but we could also grab liquidity and then come right back up. Again, we went up by 800 points since the close of yesterday. That was insane. Wish I would have gotten that trade. Yeah, Nvidia. No chance, huh? Where is Nvidia's low, man? The low of the day? I mean, $98 was its low. And we got earnings next month. So if anyone's building position in Nvidia, anything could happen with tariffs. But they got the they're building the Blackwell, and then they got the server buildup for companies to expand on their AI transitions and all that. SoftBank bought a whole bunch of Blackwells and server centers. That's where NVIDIA is going to make their money, is the Blackwell and the server centers. But man, $98, that was a fair price to get in. And we're above 100 today, so I don't know how much lower NVIDIA is going to go, especially if we start getting trickle of good news on tariffs. All right, so the next thing I'm waiting on, we broke through this trend line. This intermediate trend line is still intact. This trend line from the high of the day is still intact. I'm looking for a retest here. Hope I'm on the right screen. Looking for a retest here and a break here. But 1230 is coming around, so anything could happen at 1230. I just feel like when I'm at the gym at 1230, the market like moves 80 points, 60 points, 100 points. There's the top of the gap right there, man. Let's see how far we are. 113 points for the top of that gap. I mean, we've seen it happen. Oh, the intraday low. You talking about NVIDIA intraday or NASDAQ intraday? are we continually going down? All China has to say is we're not happy with the United States and we're going to keep tariffs where they're at and hold off with negotiations until the United States decides to treat us with respect. And then we're dropping. I could see China doing that. All right, last stop. The last stop before we drop lower is going to be 732.50. So 732.50, and we may not even get there. I'll show you what I'm looking at. This area right here. So if we could if we keep that, and we're moving back up good already, but if we keep that, I mean, I feel like we're going to test this area down here. All we got to do is close bigger than that red. It's almost 12:30, so is this the first indication that we're going to break this area to come up to here? 2 minutes away. Or was that a bull fake? Broke the intermittent trend. We're coming back to retest this trend line. All right, man. If we break, if we reject here, we're coming back down. But if we break, if we test and then break through it, we could come all the way up to here again. That 5-minute candle looks strong. That could have been the low. Broke the trend. Are we going to bounce it? Nope, we're not going to bounce it. $12:30, 30 seconds. Come on, populate. Nothing new on the news. $12:30. Is this a 5-minute reversal candle? I'd go long, but man, I don't think I'm willing to risk 80 points. I'll wait to see what price does at 50% of this candle down in this, the bottom of this box. But we may not come back down there. Last time, we haven't had a 5-minute candle that big and be solid since the high of the day. This 5-minute candle, if you look at all the green candles, there has not been one that big. Do we play it? Do we play it on the paper account? At least to test the VWAP. Or the EMA, definitely the EMA. I'll be so mad if it hits that and I didn't take the trade on my combine. Look for a retest down here. It might pull back down here before going up. At least to this trend line. All right, we're coming back down to retest the bottom of this box, this level, and this trend line. So if we reverse, oh man, is it already reversing? It didn't go low enough for me to get in. What's a 100 tick look like? It's a large 5-minute candle. That's all I could think about. It's the largest 5-minute candle all morning. Well, since the high of the day. Since 10:30. All right, here we go. Come on down. Come on down to here. 20 seconds left of this 5-minute candle. Ooh, it's such a small green candle. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. And so far, so good. $180. All right, what are we going to do? What are we going to do on this trend line? This is the major one from the high of the day. So what price decides to do here is going to be huge. That was it, man. That was the long. That pullback right there. I thought it was going to come down to here, and it didn't. I'm not going to get FOMO. I want to see what price does at this trend. This trend was from the high of the day. So I want to see what it does on this trend line. Palantir is going back up. Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft. We broke it on the 1 minute. I don't have it on the 5 minute. Let me draw it on the 5 minute real quick. We got the VWAP, man. We could break at the VWAP. That's what it looks at the 5 minute, breaking the trend line. And we got the VWAP at 927. So we got the VWAP roughly right there. We got the EMA at 905. So EMA, VWAP. Could reject down here, come back down to here, and go back up. Man, that was a long play right there. Man, Nvidia's moving up too. Good Lord. $12.30, man. There's the reversal. $138 points. I put this line here because I think it's going to come down to test this area. But the Max 7 looks pretty strong. We got this resistance area here. We got the EMA coming down to here. And we got the VWAP up here. So I'm watching those. But this area right here. Okay, we get a new candle forming on that outside of that trend if we stay outside of it. 7 seconds. could bounce here too. Here or here. Trend line's getting tested. EMA's dropping down. The VWAP's turning flat. Six-point risk. Do I go long now?
Filled. Order filled.
Is it finally gonna go? Because I couldn't handle the stress because I don't want to lose this eval. That was a good area to go long if I just was able to hold it. Or we could drop. Anyways, I think I'm gonna get off for the rest of the day. There it goes. That was the move I was waiting for. That was clearly a bounce off that trend line. I know. In this market, using too much size, that's why I feel like that. Oh. If I just trusted it, right? I feel like all my choices of going big and then getting destroyed, I think, yeah, over leveraging, too much size. I have like ingrained this fear, this psychological fear aspect of my trading that I feel like it's inevitable. You got to start with a zero balance on every trade, too. No matter if you win or lose, you got to start with a zero balance. I know. I do know that. All right, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to go out into the wild and start conducting my day accordingly. Pond, good luck today. I hope you're. I hope you got positive towards later in the day. And we got to take our licks, right? We got to take our licks, learn our process, trade our process every time. And I need to trade micros. And we'll work on this eval. I'm not going to trade it tonight because I always blow my stuff up when I trade it in the evening. Sometimes I get lucky and I close, like last night, I think I was up $400 start of this morning because of last night. And I had to trade last night because of the news that was published last night, what Trump was tweeting. So I was like, oh man, it's going to be on at Globex. But if there's nothing going on, I shouldn't trade it. I know that. But anyways, thanks for coming on and hanging out for a while. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right, man. Take it easy.